Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how a Speedcuber solves the Rubik's Cube one-handed. So let's get right into it. Contrary to popular belief, the Rubik's Cube being solved one-handed is very different from the Rubik's Cube being solved two-handed. And the reason for that is, well, you have only one hand. So all of these moves, which involve using finger tricks from both hands, become kind of different, and that's how that difference is perceived. So for example, if I were doing RU, R prime, U prime, with two hands, that would be very simple. I could just do RU and then R prime, and the U prime would be with my left hand. But with one hand, what am I meant to do here? So I'm a right-handed individual, but you could be any left or right-handed or ambidextrous, lucky you. So as a right-handed individual, I would think maybe something like this would work, but it really doesn't, and it's really uncomfortable, and I have to hold the cube sideways. So how do people get over this, barrier? Well, the way they do that is most right-handed or right-dominant cubers actually use their left hand, and of course this is not a hard and fast rule, it's not exclusive at all. But it's just a general case, and there are a lot of people who use their right hand as well, even though they are right hand dominant anyway. So I use my left hand, and the way we do it is something like that. So this is R prime, U and U prime. If you don't know notation, please check out this video where I explain notation. But something like this is how we would make R and U moves, and F prime moves, and B prime moves. So it's like a very complicated grip in that sense, although the grip remains pretty much the same. It's not that hard, but yeah, that's the point of one-handed, is to simulate your right hand with the pinky of your left hand and the index, and these are like quite far apart, which makes it, that was a Spider-Man, okay, I'm sorry, it makes it kind of you get more dexterity with your fingers when you solve it like that, and that's the reason people use their left hand. Why not the right hand? Well, that's because your left hand is actually providing the support, and it's more accessible in terms of reaching the rightmost layer, whereas if I had my right hand, it's actually more accessible in reaching the leftmost layer. So if I was a left-handed cuber, or if I was left-handed in general and more left dominant, I would probably be using my right hand for one-handed. So let's actually see how a cuber would solve this. And a small disclaimer here, this is not a tutorial. Again, this is actually like a series I'm making. You should check out this playlist now and see what I'm trying to do with this series. So this is not a tutorial, and I'm just going to show you what a Speedcuber really thinks when they're solving a cube one-handed. So let me scramble this up. Here we are. Here's the scrambled cube, and what a one-handed solver would see is instantly I am right-handed, so I'm going to go with right-handed moves. So since I'm right-handed, I would be looking for moves that I can do with the R layer, the U layer, and the F layer. So the right, the up, and the front layers. So here I see green here and red here. So I'm very likely to do something like U prime, R prime, F to solve this set of pieces. But in this case, what I can actually do is solve orange first with an L. I know it's kind of ugly, so what I would probably do is start with this kind of grip, where I do this. And then I would go D prime, because I have to solve this here. U prime, R prime, F, L to solve the cross, and D. So I would be finishing in this grip, but one thing you need to remember is officially, so even in WCA recognized competitions, you can use the table when you're solving one-handed. So I would slam the cube on the table, or probably like this. So I can solve this green-orange pair. And since I am a righty, it's going to be weird to solve this, and that's why you see me change my grip to something like this. And then I would solve this red-green pair in the back, very simple. And then I would see this red-blue. And then the blue-orange. So I would have to rotate here. So I would do that, and then that. So just like that, I've finished the two layers. And if you've noticed, it wasn't too slow. It was more just like a lot more involvement with the hand, for obvious reasons, right? I don't have two hands to split the workload now. It's just the one hand doing everything. So then I would do OLL in a very similar way, but I will have you note that the difference in OLL and PLL for one-handed is actually quite stark. And let me set something up to show you that. So this is an example of a case where a two-handed solver could use an algorithm that starts like this, but with one hand that's really hard to do. So you would just not do that, and that would cause a lot of pain, mental pain mostly. So here a one-handed algorithm that you can learn for this. So if you don't know this case already, it's actually a really cool and neat algorithm. So it goes something like this, and I will make a very short video about one-handed OLLs, because I know I have two algorithms that I learned from this really prominent cuber, and that video will be mostly about that cuber, so I want to save that video for later. So this is actually one of those OLL algorithms that I learned from him, and it goes R U R prime U prime, R U prime R prime, and then you bring this corner to the front, F prime U prime F, and then you use the table and do R U R prime. So that's a much easier way to solve it than if you were to solve it using this algorithm but one-handed. So for obvious reasons, the first algorithm which I did one-handed was better. And then PLL. So for PLL, we would do very similar algorithms for most cases, but actually there is probably half the cases that have better one-handed counterparts. And I am not good enough at one-handed to know all of them, or even a few of them. But for example, this is a T-perm, and I would just do the normal T-perm algorithm, which is that. But one-handed, that looks something like this. So it would be, I would probably hold the cube like this and do R U R prime U prime R prime F, R2 U prime R prime U prime R U R prime, and the last F prime I'm very prone to making this mistake. Like I don't hold my layers stable enough. So what I would do there is probably something like that, and then use the table here to make sure I have stability on the last turn, like that. So I would use the table for that. I do not recommend using the table. It is almost objectively, not bad, but objectively inefficient to use the table. So I wouldn't say use the table, but you could use the table. That's not against the rules or anything. But that's how a cuber solves a cube one-handed. And I hope this was really insightful to you to see how right dominant cubers use their left hand more in one-handed solves and vice versa. It's not always the case, but most of the times. And if you see how we make finger tricks work even with one hand, it's kind of cool to think about. Even R2 and U2, some people do this. It takes time to get used to, and same with U2. It takes time to get used to these finger tricks, and you can just do like stuff like that. But point being, there's so many finger tricks out there, and it's a really cool event. 3x3 one-handed is probably one of the more fun 3x3 3x3 sub events, I would say. Yeah, that's all for this video. If you want me to make a tutorial about 3x3 one-handed, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to do so. But yes, I will catch you in the next video. I was thinking of adding solves at the end of this video, so if you see them, then hooray, and if you don't, then please stay tuned, because I'm adding solves to the very next video on this channel. Subscribe now to see them, and yeah, have a great rest of your day or night or whatever time it is for you. Take care and peace.